Hi there, these comments are for ME. I am Michael from OTC, onlinetoeflcourse.com. So you found my free TOEFL writing evaluation service over at my website at onlinetoeflcourse.com and you wrote your essay here, right? Okay, so after reading the essay, and remember the writing prompt here is teachers should be paid according to how much their students learn. Do you agree or disagree with this statement? Give examples and reasons to support your point of view. That's the topic. I'm just getting over COVID-19, the virus. I've had it for the last 2 weeks, so I'm still coughing a bit, but I feel much better. Okay, you know what? I looked at your writing, and I'm like, wow. This guy wrote 539 words. You had all of these impressively created paragraphs. Everything's formatted very nice. It looks like it's going to get 30 out of 30, right? But the more I read it, the more problems I found. So I actually gave you 3.5 out of 5 or 22 points out of 30. So if you take a look over at the rubrics, it says displays unity, progression, and coherence, though connection of ideas may be occasionally obscured. Exactly. That's a problem, right? So may demonstrate inconsistent facility in sentence formation and word choice that may result in a lack of clarity and occasionally obscure meaning. So that's also a problem, right? So let's take a look at just the organization of the essay, keeping in mind you also have a lot of language use issues. And if you're interested, if you want me to go over the essay, I can show you what you need to do in order to get a perfect score on this essay. You have good vocabulary, your grammar is not bad, so if you make a few changes, I think you can immediately improve your score pretty quickly. So if you want to have a TOEFL private lesson with me, go over to bettertoeflscores.com. Make sure you spell TOEFL correctly, TOEF. bettertoeflscores.com. You'll see the link in the comment below the video in the description box. So when you go there, click on TOEFL private lessons, you can book your lesson and just say, hey, Michael, I just paid for a lesson. I want you to go over this essay with me in more detail, and I'll be happy to do that. Let's talk about the overall organization of the essay first, right? Okay, so we already know what the writing prompt is. So then let's read the thesis and the topic sentences of each body paragraph. So teachers should be paid according to how much students learn. Do you agree or disagree with this idea? So the thesis, when we restrict the teachers to the amount of knowledge the students gain, and there's no need for the apostrophe there, when we restrict the teachers to the amount of knowledge the students gain, we actually improve the teaching quantity. I think you want to say here the teaching quality, since the student will gain, no, I guess you want to say quantity. Students will gain plenty of information as well as have the right education in the right or appropriate age without escaping many years, without getting educated because of the teaching staff's carelessness. The problem here is you got to get a little bit I mean, it's a 53-word sentence, which is incredible, and I definitely can say that you are highly educated. You might even be a doctor for all I know. It would not surprise me if you're not. I can tell by the vocabulary and the grammar you have really sophisticated type writing style, but when it comes down to it, it doesn't really organize the essay very well because let's go to the first topic sentence. The teacher cares much about the amount of money that is paid to him rather than the amount of information the students gain. But you're just stating a fact. How does this topic sentence here, how does this relate to the argument you're trying to make here? Is paying teachers according to the students' knowledge improves the quantity of the teaching? So I don't see this really making any kind of argument. If anything, you're just stating a fact. You're saying the teacher cares much about the amount of money that is paid to him. But how does that relate to why they should be paid based on students' learning? So the thing is you need to have a better thesis and a more clearly marked topic sentence that connects back to the thesis. Let's keep going. So second of all, due to the teacher's carelessness, the student's level of education gets lagged or progressed slowly. Are you trying to say that if teachers are paid based on student learning, they will be more accurate in how they deliver their lessons, right? So you need to tie this. I do see the carelessness idea. I see how you talk about it here. But the problem is you have this incredibly long 53-word sentence. The thesis is in too many different parts of that sentence. It's hard to see your focus from the sentence that you wrote. But again, due to the teacher's carelessness, the teacher's level of education gets lagged or progressed slowly. But how does that relate, again, to why teacher salary should be based on student learning? So that's the first step. You need a better, more unified organization, or the Toefl is going to kill you every time. But forget the Toefl. Let's just talk about writing in general. It's hard for me to get your point as I go through each body paragraph. I'm not getting what your full argument is because you're not organizing it in a friendly, in an easy to understand manner. Okay, so I talked about the organization, right? Okay, now let's talk about language use. I'll just give you a couple of instances. You see, indeed, they'll gain a lot of information compared to if the salary is maybe lower, thus restricting. So you might change it to that. Then you have this sentence to illustrate the student. I'm going to change this to an 8-year-old student. We could say it a little bit more concisely here. Should at least read and write some essential information that eases his communicative abilities. How about with his peers? But what we see, so we'll put a comma here to separate this. This is why I can tell you have a very high education. Your thought process is very complex, and your sentence structure shows that. But what we see in today's world is the opposite, because there's no seriousness in the teaching methods among the teaching staff. Okay, so here you have to put a semicolon, not a colon. The semicolon is joining those independent clauses. Notice how this sentence here, my goodness, 45 words, then as a result of that, the student loses his age without proper education that only fits with that time period of his life. I'm going to just use the his here. But what are you trying to say there? That's the problem. It says the student loses his age without proper education that only fits with that time period of his life. I just don't get, exactly what you're trying to say there. So I see you as having a lot of good vocabulary and incredibly complicated sentence structure, but I'm still not able to fully understand your points. So I think that you're translating to some degree. So you're thinking to some degree in your first language, and you're not able to fully communicate these ideas in English. So that's the other reason. So you have a combination of either sentence structure, word choice problems, where it says here it may result in lack of clarity and occasionally will obscure meaning. To me, this sentence is unclear. And this sentence is also unclear here. So that's why I scored you in the 3 area there. And then your thesis statement and topic sentences also need to be better framed. And that's also why I scored you in the 3 range. All right, so your score here is 3.5 out of 5, 22 points out of 30. And I think with some changes, it might take 10 or 15 practice tests, maybe even 20, but I can get you on track to where you're writing academic writing. You're moving from general to more specific ideas, and I can guarantee you, if you work with me for a few weeks, your writing will be very, very structured, and you will overcome a lot of these language use problems you're having. Right? So I can help you with that. I got Toefl private lessons to help exactly students like you. All right, thank you.